Very few things in life are guaranteed, but just like we all know the sun will set today and rise tomorrow, we also know that gamers will.
I fucking can't stand this fucking game, bro. I can't fucking stand it. It's a proper crashout! Just want to get past this.
Truth be told, we've all been there. Challenging games can be incredibly stressful and cause actual, measurable anxiety. Repeatedly dying to the same boss, falling into obvious traps like a moron, getting stuck in puzzles that feel like they were written by ancient Sumerian mathematicians, or being stuck in elo hell in a competitive game with teammates that seemingly are clinically brain dead, which will probably make you feel like throwing your PC into a fucking trash can. Regardless of the genre, if you've played games for more than a week, you've hit one or all of those situations. But here's the weird thing. Despite all the rage, the pain, and soul-crushing losses, we keep coming back. Why? What is it about difficult games that make us willingly sign up for misery? Do gamers have a kink for humiliation? Is this a form of digital masochism? Are game journalists right when they say Sekiro should have an easy mode? Are we okay? Do we need help? Don't worry, we'll get to the bottom of this. Let's dive in. First things first, yeah, difficult games can be anxiety-inducing. They will spike your cortisol levels and make you question your entire sense of competence. But here's the catch. That tension matters. That stress, that sense of, I need to beat this, is what pulls you in. A good soundtrack, an immersive world, and complex characters are cool, but very often, it's the challenge that makes you feel like you are living the game, not just watching it. The frustration is part of the flavor. It makes the victories taste better. Take Elden Ring, for instance. Imagine if you just walked around, pressed a couple of buttons, and became the Elden Lord in 15 minutes. Not that challenging, kinda boring. What's even the point? You wouldn't really feel like the protagonist of the game. You would feel like a speedrunner on tranquilizers. In games like these, the difficulty is the story. Every enemy, every boss fight, every death, it's all part of your personal arc. You earn your place. That's why players feel so emotionally invested. The pain makes the triumph feel real. And scientifically speaking, this isn't just gamer cope. There's a psychological phenomenon called the flow state, created by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. Flow is that moment where you are so immersed, so focused, that time simply disappears. You're no longer thinking, you're just doing. It's pure instinct. It's the reason you suddenly land the perfect parry, the insane flick, or the pixel perfect dodge. It's the same state athletes experience during clutch plays. And yes, gamers get it too. So next time someone says, well, gaming isn't that deep, tell them you're practicing psychological optimization or something. The thing is, entering the flow state isn't the only thing difficult games give us, obviously. Believe it or not, these games teach real-life skills. They require discipline. You have to keep showing up, keep learning patterns, keep pushing forward after failure. And even though you're playing for fun, you're also training resilience, problem solving, and strategic thinking. There's even research on this. Studies have shown that players who stick with difficult games demonstrate improvements in cognitive flexibility, working memory, and even stress management. You are literally rewriting your brain to get better at overcoming adversity through a controller or a mouse and keyboard. Whatever. And that's the key. It's not about being perfect. It's about getting better. That's why hard games feel so damn rewarding. You went from getting stomped to dishing out the stomping. That's character development, dude. It's not just about mechanical skill either. It's the mindset. The more you play difficult games, the more you build a sense of competence. You get comfortable with the fact that you are discomfortable all the time. And when you beat a challenge that once seemed impossible, you start to believe that maybe you can do that outside of the game too, even if it is just in a subconscious level. And yeah, it's true, frustration is part of the process, but frustration when balanced is productive. Psychology suggests that moderate levels of frustration actually increase motivation as long as there's a visible path to progress. You don't quit because you failed. You keep going because you almost succeeded. That's why From Software games are genius. They flirt with the perfect line between this is hard and I can do this. It's emotional manipulation at its finest, and we all love it. Every boss fight is brutal but beatable. The game game never holds your hand, but it always tells you you can win if you suffer enough. Which is kind of what life does, to be completely honest with you. Now, the other dimension we can analyze is the competitive games. Games in which your enemy is a real human, not a code-based murder demon. In these games, the difficulty isn't just in the mechanics or reading pattern. It's the unpredictability, the ego battles, the emotional tilt. One mistake, one misplay is all it takes for you to occasionally tilt completely and spiral into a 10-game losing streak, questioning your entire identity and wondering why you're even spending time with that game. But that's also what makes it so addictive.
I'm addicted! I can't quit!
When you start seeing improvement in competitive games, real improvement, not just I got lucky situations, it feels like leveling up in real life. And let's be completely honest, pro players deserve way more respect than sometimes they get. They're not just sitting there pressing buttons. They're living under constant pressure, watching VODs, studying strategy, training decision making, and performing under high-stakes mental exhaustion. Most of them are not really raging at teammates or blaming the meta. The best of them focus on themselves. They're chasing mastery, just like any high-level athlete would do. And that mindset is something anyone can learn from. We can take any competitive game as an example here. We can look at the highest level of League of Legends, Street Fighter 6, Valorant, Apex. The pro players in these games work to the point of achieving the highest possible level a human being can have on what they're doing. And that's extremely consuming, but it's also admirable in many different ways. Acquiring that level of success and being that good at something usually takes a huge amount of obsession to improve as much as possible. With that said, any benefits that gaming can give you in real life are contingent upon a balanced lifestyle. If you're not a pro player and gaming isn't your living, it's probably not a very good idea to spend 24 hours in video games. It's probably not going to be very good for you. Now we can finally address the elephant in the room, the eternal beef between gamers and certain game journalists. Truth being said, journalism might not be dead as a profession, but certain journalists really try to kill it every single day. Game journalists are famous for being part of an industry that they apparently hate.
I wrote a blog post a while ago about why I hate video games.
To them, gamers are most often wrong. They're either misogynistic or some sort of phobic. They hate diversity, minorities, etc., 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 just because, they like a male protagonist in a video game or something. Now, if you're not used to consuming journalistic content, first of all, I don't blame you. Secondly, the only thing that you need to know is that it's not unusual for them to bring up points like, this game is unfair because I couldn't beat the tutorial boss. Oh my god, how dare the devs make a game this difficult? What about accessibility? What about players that don't have the mechanical prowess? Blah, blah, blah. Because how dare a game expect you to learn something? Please, let's cancel Miyazaki immediately on X. A good example of that is the infamous Forbes article about Sekiro not having an easy mode. That whole discourse was just a couple of journalists being mad that a game didn't bend over backward to accommodate everyone. And sure, accessibility is important, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about games that are hard on purpose. That difficulty is the message. Sekiro isn't broken, it's just hard. It's really hard, and that's the point. We're not saying every game needs to be brutal, but every game doesn't need to be for everyone. Sometimes you don't need an easy mode, you just need to get good. And if you are a journalist whose job is to review games and you rage quit halfway through and still publish a full article about how the game is bad, I don't know, man. Maybe try reviewing puzzles next time, or stamp collections. That's on you, not on gamers and not on the devs. The truth is, games are the most interactive form of art we have. They offer choice, agency, growth, and consequence. That's why difficult games resonate so deeply. They give us a real sense of achievement, not a fake participation trophy. And if a game isn't for you, that's fine. Just don't write 1,000-word articles shaming everyone who does enjoy it or criticizing the game for no real reason whatsoever. So yeah, rage, failure, and frustration are all part of the experience, but so are growth, mastery, and the dopamine rush of finally pulling off something you once thought was impossible. Difficult games remind us that we are capable of more than we think. And yeah, sometimes we scream and cry and uninstall, but then we reinstall 30 minutes later because we're built like that. We know what we're capable of doing, and to be completely honest, I encourage everyone to try because I do believe almost anyone can beat those games. Almost anyone can improve in competitive games. Almost anyone can beat Sekiro. Some people do it blindfolded, dude. If they can do it, you can do it too. That's what the journey is all about. Persistence and improvement. Anyway, that's it for today. See you guys later.